In this instalment of Samuel Pepys' diary from the year 1665, we find Sam with another bad case of wind. His mother comes to visit, and he also goes off for dinner with some good friends. Enjoy! Hello, are you sitting comfortably? Then we'll begin. I'm Tom Barclay-Matchett, the London Storyteller, and I'm currently sharing with you the Diary of Samuel Pepys from the year 1665, a time with many parallels to our own. I'm currently reading from May 1665. Now, please do settle in, and I'll begin. The 9th of May, 1665. Up betimes and to my business at the office, where all the morning. At noon comes Mrs. Turner and dines with us, and my wife's painting master stayed and dined. And I take great pleasure in thinking that my wife will really come to something in that business. Here dined also Llewellyn. So after dinner to the office, and there was very busy till almost midnight, and so to home, to supper, and to bed. This day we have news of 8 ships being taken by some of ours, going into the Texel. There 2 men of war that convoyed them running in. They came from about Ireland round to the north. The 10th of May, 1665. Up betimes and abroad to the cockpit, where the Duke of Albemarle did give Sir William Batten and me an account of the late taking of 8 ships, and of his intent to come back to the gun fleet with the fleet presently, which creates us much work and haste therein against the fleet comes. So to Mr. Povey, and after discourse with him home, and thence to the Guard and Southwark, there to get some soldiers by the Duke's order to go keep pressmen on board our ships. So to the Change, and much business, and then home to dinner, and there find my poor mother come out of the country today in good health, and I am glad to see her, but my business, which I am sorry for, keeps me from paying the respect I ought to her at her first coming. So being grown very weak in her judgment, and doting again in her discourse, through age and some trouble in her family. Left her and my wife to go abroad to buy something, and then to my office. In the evening, by appointment to Sir William Waring and Mr. Deering at the tavern hard by, with the intent to do some good upon their agreement in a great bargain of plank. So home to my office again, and then to supper and to bed, my mother being in bed already. 12th of May, 1665. By water to the Exchequer, and there up and down through all the offices to strike my tallies of £17,500, which methinks is a great testimony of the goodness of God to me, that I, from a mean clerk there, should come to strike tallies myself for that sum, and in the authority that I do now, is a very stupendous mercy to me. I shall have them struck tomorrow. But to see how every little fellow looks after his fees, and to get what he can for everything, is a strange consideration. The king's fees that he must pay himself for this £17,500, coming to above £100. Thence called my wife at unthanks to the New Exchange, and elsewhere to buy a lace band for me. But we did not buy. But I find it so necessary to have some handsome clothes that I cannot but lay out some money thereupon. The 13th of May, 1665. Up and all day in some little grutchings of pain, as I used to have from wind arising, I think from my fasting so long and want of exercise, and I think going so hot in clothes, the weather being very hot, and I in the same clothes I wore all winter, to the change after office, and received my watch from the watchmaker, and a very fine one it is, given me by Briggs the scrivener. But Lord, to see how much of my folly and childishness hangs upon me still, that I cannot forbear carrying my watch in my hand in the coach this afternoon, and seeing what o'clock it is 100 times, and am apt to think with myself, how could I be so long without one? Though I remember since I had one, and found it a trouble, and resolved it to carry one about one no more while I lived. The 14th of April, 1665. Lord's Day. Up and with my wife to church, it being Whit Sunday, my wife very fine, in a new yellow bird's eye hood, as is the fashion now. We had a most sorry sermon. So home to dinner, my mother having her new suit brought home, which makes her very fine. After dinner, my wife and she and Mercer to Thomas Pepys's wife's christening of his first child, and I took a coach and to Wanstead, the house where Sir Harold Mildmay did live, and now Sir Robert Brooks lives. A fine seat, but an old-fashioned house, and being not full of people, looks desolately. Thence to Walthamstow, where Sir William Batten by and by came home, I walking up and down the house and garden with my lady, very pleasant. Then to supper, very merry, and then back by coach by dark night, I all the afternoon in the coach, reading the treasonous book of the court of King James, printed a great while ago, and worth reading, though ill-intended. As soon as I came home upon a letter from the Duke of Albemarle, I took boat at about 12 at night, and down the river in a galley, my boy and I, down to the Hope, and so up again. Sleeping and waking with great pleasure, my business to call upon every one of our victualling ships to set them a-going. I hope you've enjoyed watching this video. Please don't forget to add your comments, like and subscribe. Cheerio!